Alright, got that one out. There's the half quart of oil that's missing. It's in the bell housing. So that's no good. Found a couple weird things on this one that you don't see too often. Well, I don't, because I used to work at a shop where most of the cars that we worked on were regular customers, and we took real good care of their cars. But one really major safety thing was this rubber fuel line. I always complain about rubber fuel line. This is actually supposed to have a metal line that goes from the back of the motor right to about here, all the way around to the front of the motor, and then it takes a piece of German fuel line to the fuel pump. This won't pull out of this tin because it's sawed itself into the fuel line here. So that was getting ready to be a fire for sure. The problem with a Volkswagen is they're air cooled. Once this starts leaking, it drops right onto this red hot exhaust pipe here. Then it lights on fire. It lights the magnesium case, and you watch the car burn. The flywheel's super wet. Super wet. Looks like it's had the clutch replaced at some time. I'm sure the disc will be wet. We'll have to check the condition of that. The other weird thing, the throttle tube, it slipped out in the back. I like to put a clamp on them for this reason. It's got a tube that comes through the fan housing right here from the other side, and it pokes out the back right here. Well, this one had slid forward, and you can see where it's sawing into the metal there. Now it's where the let me get focused here. Right there is where the cable had been sawing through the metal, sheet metal. You can see where it's frayed up right there. So that was getting ready to break and be a stranded kind of thing too. So we caught two things on this. We got the flywheel seal that was leaking, or the fuel line, and the throttle cable was definitely an issue. We'll tip this one up and drill the stud. I'll call them up and let them know if they want to fix the oil leaks and flywheel seal. We'll take care of that. If not, we'll pick up a throttle cable tomorrow, dig up a metal fuel line. If you can't find fuel line, you can use brake tubing. I don't like to use brake tubing because it's really soft, so if you use brake tubing, make sure you put a grommet in the front tin there. There's a pile off of the thing. It's off the floor and the fender wells. I worked on that today. Got that touched up. It's got a few rust spots in the pan. We're gonna patch it. I'm gonna put a little tar in one spot and just slow it down, basically keep the water out of it, and we'll address that if he decides to keep it. I'm letting all this stuff dry. All this has been sprayed. This is some bed liner under there. I did the floor, part of the floor. I'm gonna need another can or two to finish that up. I tried to concentrate on the wheel wells so I can put my suspension parts in, my new shocks and stuff, and then we'll work on the floor a little tomorrow. There's the rest of this one. Is he really going to show us all of them? I guess so. There's that one. Still a little wet. It looks a lot better. Covered up some of that rust. Scraped all the loose stuff off. And yeah, so looks a lot nicer. So that's where we're at with that. I haven't washed my parts yet. I've been rolling around on the concrete, so I'm not turning the camera around. So I'm really real dirty. Real dirty. But I'll get this cleaned up in the morning, and decided to go ahead and get a, how the hell with it. We decided to get a clutch for this, so I'm going to take that flywheel off and have it machined in the morning. And he's going to pick the clutch up, clutch kit, pressure plate, disc, and a release bearing. And I need to get some oil and some gear lube, and I think that'll be it, and a little bit of wire. And I'm broke, so he's probably gonna run some money out for some parts. And somebody wanted to know about oil for these. This is the oil I like to use, Valvoline. There's one that Chip likes. It says liquid titanium in it. I don't really like that one. I like this VR1, and it says right on the back for flat tappet cams. So you want that high zinc formula. Also protects push rods and flat tappet engines. You cannot put regular motor oil off the shelf in a flat tappet cam motor. It'll just kill it. So all you guys with the classic cars that are putting in the AutoZone oil, you're gonna wipe the motor out unless you've got a roller cam retrofitted into it. There's no zinc in the oil because it plugs the catalytic converters up, and when they take the zinc out, they quietly didn't tell anybody. So all these little motors would fall to the wayside because nobody's cashing clunkers your thing or your bus or your MG or all those other cars with solid camshafts or with flat tappets. So be sure that you buy an oil with heavy zinc additive. I don't like adding the zinc to the oil. That doesn't seem to work good for me. If you're having luck with that and you're checking the bottom of the lifters, share what you're using. But Brad Penn, this Valvoline, or there's a few other companies, seem to be the way to go if you don't want to lose camshafts. And if you add spring pressure to the motor, it just increases the wipeout time, just accelerates it. So anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and shut this off, go get cleaned up, and got undercoating all over me, bed liner, whatever. And I'm gonna get cleaned up and come back out here and bolt some shocks on, maybe take those front drums apart, pack some wheel bearings, and put some cylinders and shoes on. So that's what's happening. Turned out to be a beautiful day here today. Little cirrus clouds, probably about 65, 79, 70 degrees, 69 degrees, I don't know. Can't be much hotter than that. Never did see my Mustang today. Anyway, that's what's going on. We'll get back on this. Just to show you how good this door opens with this squirting those hinges down last night. Still a little stiff, but it's not trying to rip the posts out of the car. So we'll lube those up again and loosen those up. You always want to lube those if you're a Volkswagen owner, because once they get water down in here, they start rusting, and if you let it sit for a while, it can be do a lot of damage when you peel that door open. All right, guys, gals. My mom watches sometimes, so hi, Mom. And hope everybody's having a great pre-holiday week. We're getting ready to celebrate Christmas, the birth of Jesus Christ, the best holiday of all. We all got a free gift. It's whether you decide to use it or not. Y'all have a wonderful night.